Come with me today to a story that was originally told in the Mahabharat as a one-line description. The Harivamsha, which came later, has a version which will gladden any romantic's heart. And this is a story whose framework I have filled with my own imagined conversation. The story, a sprinkling of magic. Namaskaram. Welcome to Stories and Magic with me, Mahita. Hesitating just a little, the guard to Krishna's inner chamber said, "He's with our guest, my lady, and he said not to." She turned to look at him. Her lips were curved in a smile, but her eyes were like stone. The guard moved aside. She wore no jewelry, and so there was no tinkle of bangles or anklets to announce her arrival. Just the widening of Partha's eyes as she came through the doorway, and the slight flare of his nostrils as the cool scent of the night jasmine that she wore on her skin wafted into the room. Krishna turned and saw his sister Subhadra step inside. Arjuna half rose from his seat in greeting, but Subhadra paid him just as little attention as she did to the moths hovering over the lamps, and Arjuna sank back into his seat. "I hear you're planning a kidnapping, Navanita," she smiled, wasting no time in small talk and pleasantries, and Krishna winced. That name, a reminder of his butter-stealing days, meant trouble. "I'm surprised you didn't invite me to join the meeting. After all, you have always said that I am the superior strategist. Could it be because you are planning my kidnapping?" Arjuna watched Subhadra as she adjusted with one hand her upper garment so that it would not catch as she sat on the soft cotton cushions and balanced on the other hand a silver tray piled high with poha laddus. He could not help thinking that her beauty and grace would put to shame Tilottama or Ramba or any of Indra's matchless apsaras. His blood quickened and he shifted, trying to get more comfortable. Not even by a glance did Subhadra acknowledge his presence. Years ago, he had heard whispers about Subhadra, sister of his dear friend and cousin Krishna, and he dismissed them. Nobody could be that perfect. Then he heard bards sing of her. One would sing of Meenalochani, the lady with eyes like fish, lips as pink as the freshest lotus petals, and a slow swaying walk as graceful as an elephant's. Another would interrupt with a breathless tale of when she leapt onto the bare back of the largest stallion in the palace stables, had been violently thrown off, and got up laughing, swearing that she would one day be the best horseman in the country. "Hush," the third would say, and then sing of when, disguised as a guard, she stood in defense of their cattle against raiders. Nobody could possibly be that perfect. And when, in the final year of his exile, Arjuna had the opportunity to visit Dwaraka, he told himself it was only to see his cousin and pay his respects to Balarama. Subhadra broke off a piece of the laddu and offered it to Vasudeva. "You do remember that I'm betrothed already, Krishna? Yet you would take me from one and offer me to another? Like a pet parrot you had grown tired of? Is your mind bound with Duryodhana?" Krishna asked, and Arjuna's breath caught in his throat as he waited for the prince to answer. "And what if it is?" She held her hand up as Krishna started to speak. "Do not tell me that this is in line with Kshatriya Dharma. I know a Kshatriya is allowed to kidnap the bride of his choice. I know the elder Pandava has given his approval, as you have done. And it would be a sad morning, wouldn't it, Krishna, if your sister put an arrow in your dear friend's chest?" Arjuna was startled at her words. Had he read her wrong? Did she not return his affection? "Do you not care for Partha to Subhadra? I do not need your words to know your heart." Krishna took a second piece of the laddu. "I have seen you walk in the gardens with him late at night. I have heard the laughter in your voice. I have seen the sidelong glances you cast at him, and they were glances of longing, Subhadra. I know that. And why, just yesterday, you took the choicest cut of venison from my plate and placed it in his. How many times through the years, Subhadra, you have begged me to tell you the story of Partha's achievements. You have never asked about Duryodhana, not even after you were promised to him. Subhadra smiled and broke off another jaggery-laden piece of the sweetmeat. Kaunteya is handsome, he is brave. The bards can sing of nothing else, and like every other girl in the land, my heart too quickens when I hear his name. It is my honor to serve him, Krishna, to ensure he lacks for nothing, that to him our home is more welcoming than the heavens itself. He is our special guest. You strategize because it suits you to have a stronger bond between our family and his. You consult with the wise men about the correctness of this action. You send word to Dharmaraja to ask his opinion. Yet, you do not ask me what my will is? Krishna stayed silent and Arjuna watched the exchange, unsure of where it was going. Yagnaseni had a tongue that could have him bleeding. Would he go home with a bride tomorrow, a bride just like the one he already had? Or would he leave Dwarka as he had come, empty-handed? What is your will, my sister? Tell me. And I give you my word that that is the only course of action that will be allowed to happen. My will, Krishna, Subhadra said, is that you ask. Must you also use your women as barter to suit your political ambitions? Must you? Ask. Ask if I will break my promised bond with the eldest born of Gandhari. Ask if I will have Arjuna as mine. Ask if I will share him with the peerless Draupadi. Before Krishna could say a word, Arjuna rose and came to stand before Subhadra. Finally, she acknowledged his presence. Her eyes, which could captivate a man with just one glance, met his own, and he fell to his knees before her. In all of your strategizing, Partha, did you not consider me at all? Did you think that my brother Balarama would let you ride away with your prize that easily? Are you conceited enough to think that if he chose to pursue you, as he definitely would, that you could defeat him in battle? Are you foolish enough to believe Krishna would stand with you against his other half? Did you stop to think, if my brother defeated you, what would then become of me? Have you forgotten the story of the great Bhishma and Amba, the princess of Kashi? Do you believe Duryodhana would still honor his commitment to wed me? And if you defeated him, did you think I would then willingly marry the man who humiliated my brother in battle? She broke the last piece of the sweetmeat into two and offered one to Krishna. I will go, but the world and my brother have to know that I went of my own will. She turned to Arjuna. Tomorrow, I will be at the Devi temple for the first arati. I will be in Krishna's chariot. The reins of the horses will be in my hands. She offered the last piece of the jaggery laddu to him and rose to leave.